Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadananda Bhagavatpadacharya Namo Namah Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolayan Prataya Nada Prataya Vibhuda Surasaukya Dukka Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipalimba Viparitamati Prabodhan Vadan Rasakatavan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Anandatirthamunivayam Namami Purya Pujyaya Raghavendraya Satyadharmarataya Cha Bhajatam Kalpavrikshaya Namatam Kamadhenve Sahana Vavatu Sahana Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu ma Vishvidavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome, friends, again to our journey of the Kathopanishad. Then we were in the last segment of the takeaway from Kathopanishad. We have seen, because the up to mantra number 13 as to how we can, because finally get the highest knowledge, by knowing, because knowing, we are all the creations of the Mula Prakriti and we are all the one, because we getting the benefit of it. Finally, when we dissolve, this body gets into the earth to earth, dust to dust, and ashes to ashes, with all the five elements get away there and all. We are bundle of the molecules, because in each we are bundle, but the basic, because the atom, because that is same. The basic, the cell remains same for all the creatures, be it human being or the protoplasm or because or whatever it is there in the animals, or it is the basic, the cell component is same. The cell, the basic cell is same, but finally, because when it is being, because the molecular formation with the several things takes place, we get into the human form, animal form, and as well as the for flora and fauna and human beings. We are also different, because then why we are all different, appearing different. We may be having the same life force in us, the same life force which guides everything else, including the flora and fauna, animals, everything. It is the finally same. The substratum of the power is the same, but we all appear to be different. We are all appear to be different, because then we have got the concept of, because each one of us have got our experiences in the several of our earlier, the manifestation, whether you call it burst or then, and then because all of them, because finally it has an effect. The effect, the cause is, finally whatever we had the experience, whatever we had the unfulfilled desires, whatever we had carried on, with our good deeds, as well as the some of the deeds, which for which we will have to make amends now, because we will have to give back to the world, from what we have taken. That's why the birth has come into this place. So we will also try to find, by how we are trying to be different, each one of us in terms of name and form, as well as attitude, as well as the mindset and actions in this world. This we have got the karma theory easily, that has been explained earlier, and we have also seen, and this is what the basis even the Western philosophy accepts, because the reincarnation takes place, because there are certain effects of the earlier manifestation continues, and in the formation takes place, a different formation, different combination, permutation. That's why each one of us appear to be different. The animal appear to be different, the flora and fauna, even though they are all basically same, qualitatively same, but they are all appearing to be different because there are different qualitative sort of qualitative seed qualities are there in each one of them. They will have to eat, they will also have to flourish to their full potential. You go to the Amazon forest, you see the leaves and forest, which you have not seen anywhere else, because some of them are 500 years old, some of them are 600 years old, but still they are giving the benefit of their existence in this earth to the soil, as well as the sky, as space, as well as they are also creating, because the atmosphere, in which the world can flourish. But irrespective of the, because the domino effects that takes place because of the intelligence of the human being in every part of the world, it is the forest, the rainforest and the Amazon forest that are keeping us in balance. And that is why, because they are able to keep the tsunamis off to some extent in some parts, But when the tsunami comes, sometimes it is the level of Empire State Building. Yesterday, there was a tsunami in Alaska. The Alaska, it was at the height of, it is almost to the total height of the Empire State Building. But luckily, no one was injured, but there was a warning system that could give just seconds before. You can't say whether this will happen again and again, because you will not be able to get the warning, because for you have indulged so much. Finally, it will have to come back to us. When we see, when we have to control the desires, it is not only the individual, the entity of ours, the collective entity of the society as a whole. When we have to control our desires and indulgence, it means for our own well-being and the well-being of others also. The effect of the tsunami and the twisters and tornadoes, which is taking place in every part of the US, every day, and as well, what is happening elsewhere, in the part of Europe, because what is happening, everything, it is the collective sort of the effect of, our actions. These actions has emanated from our desires, indulgence, because our comforts, we seek the comforts beyond, what is expected of us. We don't need so much of a comfort. The comfort spoils us. By comfort, we lose the humanity in us. By comfort, we will lose even the ethical quality that has been inbuilt. The innocence, what we had at the time of the birth, slowly vanquishes and vanish away because of the collective, the indulgence into the comfort zone, which is the prima donna, for us to go and work in the world, and we are working for those comforts. Has anyone is working for, because not to have a comfort, is all working for a comfort. Once I have a house, once I have an AC, once I have this and that, I will have a comfortable living. Once you are after the comfort, because basically is the desire propels towards the comfort, and the having propelled by the desires, finally we indulge into the actions. We don't bother about what is right or what is wrong. The discriminative quality that has been in us, ingrained in us, that it is with us. We know that it is there, but still we are not able to access, because our desire for comfort blinds us. That is why when they give up a desire and all, because they give up that desire, undue indulgence, undue, because going for the comforts, it's everything is not comfort. What you are seeking as a comfort, finally it boomerangs on you. You think AC is a comfort. Over a period of time, it takes away, because the moisture in your body and makes you into some sort of a dry, because the twig. And once it is, then you moisturize it, with so much of, the moisturizers and other things and all. And finally, you try to, they say you hydrate yourself and all. You don't have to unnecessarily hydrate. You have to hydrate as your body requests. But now it has been, because hydrating has become a necessary, because we ourselves have dehydrated ourselves by our actions. So this is exactly, because what is this, overall context it brings about. It is not that in every individual you give up the desire, in the sense it is not, because you renounce the entire the world. Renouncing the entire the world, the highest skin, the highest sort of sin. You can't renounce the world. Even if you go to Himalayas, where you are going to work on your, because tapasya and all, they are all going to be maintaining the balance of the ayatanam, what you are called in the mantra pushpam, ayatanavan bhavati, because it creates the space, earth, water, and the sun, and then the entire in the agni, in all these things in balance, fine balance, so that the human beings can live. But once they have gone and lived, because at the level of wave, because we are all in the alpha, beta existence. We are all in the beta state. Once you go into the next state, because then your delta state and all, there, your requirement is very less. When you are controlling the desire, in the sense, you are evolving into the higher state of your being. It is not that, you are just sacrificing, what you should have otherwise got in this world. That is where, which prevents us, when someone says, control your desires and all, then we take it, look, he will have an AC, I can't have an AC. Is it that he wants me to control? It's not that. So once you are able, you will be able to live with the less and less, but more effectively, with the complete satisfaction. That is the being, because in some of the upper Himalayas, the people don't have any access to food or access to even the minimum requirement. But they are all still there, and they are able to live in the sense, because they are in that state. They are dead to the delta state, because where they're, that highest state where they are there, even the breath is sufficient enough to give you the nourishment. The breath is sufficient enough to take you, to go about it. That's why, you see, some of the monks and this, they almost take, 2 times. Some of them, they don't take, even, 1 time food. Some Jain monks, I think they just, stop, they take a vow, they will not take any food for months. And even in a few monks in Bangalore, because they have taken a vow, they will not take food even for an year. But how they are not trying to show something, because they have got a magical power. They are trying to find, because their own, the highest, the dimension in which they can live. When they live, because in that dimension, when you have so much, no desire or no nothing like that, and when you are able to be in a bliss, because the bliss of, because unknown, which we will not be able to access to that bliss, because, we have not, because we don't have any sort of a propulsion to know that unknown. We want to know what it is. We want a logical explanation for everything. That's why this Upanishad, in the second chapter, it's Tarkena Labhyate. By logic, you will not be able to realize the highest bliss what you can in this world. That is by giving up, because there is nothing to, the logic will not work in there. It will work only when you are able to give up to the highest level. So this is exactly what we have seen. And we have also seen in the mantra number 13, when whatever is available and all the elements, the Mula Prakriti, whatever has been given, and because how to know when you know, you have got a desire to find your highest self of yourself, your highest evolution of yourself. Finally, it is the Guru only who can explain. He will only be able to guide you. He will only be able to find your strengths, and he will be able to enhance the strength. He will impart to you, and he will show the way. But finally, it is for you to do it. It is not that, because he will not be spoon-fed. You will have to work for that. That's what, we have seen in mantra number 13. In mantra number 13, with the 14, what we have seen in the last week. Yata sarve pramuchyante. Because when everything, all the desires, get vanished, how it will vanish? That's what we say. Even if you have got hundreds of desires, that's what, last week we said. You try to remove all of them, and finally you will have 3 or 4 desires. Then you work on that. But when that desire also, because it is required, because will you be able to still want to have to continue with that desire? And that will also be going off. So once that also goes up, and finally one or two desires will be there, that will be something, because whatever, lifetime left, because let me try to give, because some of the things, what I know little, let me share it, and let me try to create, some sort of a setup, where people can come together, congregate together, and know themselves. You create something like that, and where you are able to, to do something for the children, or something for the people, who have lost, their livelihood. You want to lose, because you try to go even a small way. You don't have to be, because we are not God, because because the thing is, we are trying to play God, because I am, taking care of so many things. We want to be known like that, because never, anyone can do it. Even someone is trying to do, he is only sort of he is only defeating his own purpose. He is only sort of cheating himself. He is not understanding, who he is. Try to do whatever little within a possibility what we have, within the control of our hands, and try to do that is more than enough. That's what Upanishad says. Yatya sarva pramuchyante kama yesu hirtitaha. Kama ye asya hirtistitaha. Whatever desires, whatever is there, that is coming out one after the other. So you try to, because, try to overcome and finally pick up, one or so desires, one or two purposes that will give you the noble desire by which, you can live comfortably. Rest of them only will take away in geometric proportion, away one from the other. Finally, you will not be able to get your knowing. This is what exactly we saw in the mantra number 14. Once what happens, and when you are giving up the desire, why, because then the last week I was explaining, because how avidya, kama, karma, because the three, which is the cause, because which is always giving us the problems in our life, the happiness in our life, and all the sort of attendant, the miseries and vicissitudes, and because whatever challenges what is coming up is coming out of all these three. Avidya, kama, karma. Avidya, kama, karma, because they become so important. Avidya is knowing only what we are seeing in this world is true. So seeing what is, because we are seeing persons, we are seeing flora and fauna and all, they are all the true. Yes, they are all true in existence in their form and all. But behind them, behind their existence, something else is there. I may be appearing in this form, but I am not this form. But I am in spirit, what we call in the Western scenario, Western phrase, spirit. The spirit is something invisible in us. What we call, whether you call it soul or jivatma or whatever it is called, and that is full of vibration. How vibration? That vibration, how it manifests into the entire in the being also, because when it manifests in the form of because all the you got the cells, the embryos, from your parents, and finally, because it has given rise to the form in which you have come into this world, and you have also, because by splicing, you have already grown into from their infant to adulthood and all these things when you have created, because then finally when you go it, you have created your own mindset, then what you have got from the birth, and then you have tried to develop yourself. You try to live in this world as successfully as possible, because that is the way world is looking at you. So without money, this world is not there. Without grace, that world, the highest level of your existence, which you, the dimension in which you can realize your, that is not there. There is a Tirukural, பொருளில்லார்க்கு இவ்வுலகம் இல்லை. If you don't have the money, this world will, consider you to be nothing, and you will not be able to live in this world. You need something, பொருள், in the sense it is some material, the wealth, you need it. அருளில்லாருக்கு அவ்வுலகம் இல்லை. When you don't have the grace, what is the grace? It is the grace of yourself to understand, your own greatness. That comes, by only, by which it is the God's grace, as well as what they call the Maya. When it is being Maya, is nothing but the God gives enough power to have the veil of, seeing this world, with your lens. And finally, you are able to see in the real terms, what is that, because you will not be able to sort of, you will not be able to realize unless that opens up. That's why, I quoted one particular uh, sort of a sentence, from our earlier Upanishad, and because one of the Prapanchopasamam, I use Prapanchopasamam, which we have seen, because in this, when the explanation of the Om, which we have seen in the Upanishad, Prapanchopasamam means the world is expanding like a geometric proportion every moment, once you give attention to that. So, am I not to give the attention to the world? You have to give the attention to the world. When you are giving the attention to the world, you have to give the attention to the world rightly in terms of what is available in front of you, what is the important work you will have to do. What is more important for you? So there is one proverb, in India, what is the most important thing in this world? Who is the most important person in the world? What is the most important time in the world? Who is the most important person in the world? Because we are all living here, children are away, in US or there, here and there and all. And even, if I have gone on some, because I have gone to a place, even this place is not there. I am, because in there, that place, and I am living in a small sort of a neighborhood, I am living there and all. The person whom I know, person whom I can talk, person who can, just, I can be interacting with, to whom I can be of help, and who he can be of my help to me, he is the most important person. Not that, my son is so and so, he's president of, some country, it doesn't help. My daughter is so and so, because she's the heading the department, the research department in Harvard, does it help? Finally, the person who is most important, he's the one, because what is that, all of these things, you can perceive, because I am so great, my children have accomplished so many things and all. But for you, the most important thing at this point of time is where you are there, even if you are on a small neighborhood, somewhere down south, close by, because there are not much facilities there. People are living with whatever minimum available, and when you are part of them, that part is more important. You are part of that. You will have they are the most important people whom you can interact, and whom you can always give you some. You can give something and get something, and where you will be able to live as a society, as a part of it. You will have to align yourself with that particular place. Not that somewhere I was this and all. That's why there is again a Tamil proverb, Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir. Wherever you are there, that is the place. Not that because here and there, this and that and all, you just try to tell about your greatness and the greatness of your siblings and others. That will not help. That is the most important. What is the most important thing to be done? The most important thing to be done is now. If I am somewhere else, because if I am having some fever, I will have to go to the local doctor. I can't be, because hankering, because John Hopkins, because my son is working there. I used to be there, he may be in John Hopkins, because I am in a small place, Tengasi, down south, and I will have to go to the nearby doctor, who can be off. That is the most important. So therefore, in the power of now, when we say, the power of mindfulness, when we say, don't go about all these things that it's pummeling, making you feel that you are something different. Okay, that's why we say, because always feel we are not very, very different from others. We are not, because we've got no greatness. We are like anyone else. Once you have that, the mindfulness comes. Comes. Right. Important actions, will be aligned with what your capability and possibility. That is fair. Sandhya madam, maybe you have to mute. So that is most important. Once you go there, and once that gives, then naturally, because why, because all these things, perceptions you have carried, because that boosts your ego. Ego is such a wonderful, that's why Ramana Maharishi says, you may be a great saint and all, but the ego is the one, you're very dangerous. You don't allow it to come anywhere near to you. How can you allow to me? You just focus on what is there, wherever you are there. I'm going to be in a Tiruvannamalai, where the saints are living together, where food is being served, because, and you are also taking a morsel of it, you try to live with that. That is the most important thing. Not that, because I used to be in taking my food in five-star hotel and all, because that's not going to be important. That's why, because Ramana Maharishi is the most important thing, irrespective of the fact that Dvaita, Advaita, this, that, and all. Finally, keep the ego away. Ego will always come. It will always, someone says, what were you, sir? And I was so and so there. And what if? That was at that point of time, the situation is put in, the God has put in, the circumstances is put in. I was there. Now someone else will be there. He may be doing a much better job. Why I should be thinking of that? Once you are able to give up, because that, your greatness slowly, and you feel that you are nothing but same as everyone else in this world, that is the denominator, that is by which only the spirituality can grow. Spirituality can never come as long as you have touched, some importance to you and some important sort of, the value for your own existence, for value to your past and what were you and all, that will never. That is why one of the things why they are telling, the spirituality, when you have to give up the desires, the sins, keep the ego away. The ego gives rise to unwanted desires. See, your requirement of the body gives the wanted desires. You require food, you require water, you require, because to the place to lie down and all, that is okay. The minimum place what you need. That is okay. And you need, that's what is available, you should accept. You should not think, I used to live in that bed and all. Okay, if I am available, some sort of a ground is available, I should be able to see. And if someone has given me the accommodation, I should be thankful. The gratitude should always be there for everything. It is not that, you have not got something, everything reserved for you. The world is not reserved for you. You have come here because you have got a purpose to serve. The world needs you. You do your job and go away. Don't go for, because I am entitled to this, I am this and that. Give up that. You give up the ego. And once you give up the ego, the world is yours. Till then, because you are dependent on the world. Once you accept everything, once because, you are not, you go free and, because you can live anywhere, anytime, and, because you are not special, that the world is yours. You are an emperor of the world. You can live in a dire desert, you can live, because even in a sort of a palace, or you can even in like a small hut, even with a person, who does have a very little means to live, you can live in that. So this is what exactly, once you attain, that capability, then you become immortal. Immortal in the sense that is, as a mortal, you require the reason, desires, and you require the desires to be fulfilled. Once it is not there, you become immortal. Then what happens? You are totally trying to identify the source. So who is the final source? Who have given the life energy through which you are breathing and existing in this world. You are grateful for your existence in this world, grateful for your experience in this world, and you become immortal, and nothing can assail you. No one can afford to you become so higher power. You can't be insulted, you can't be raised to the highest pedestal, you can't be eulogized, you can't be even put into the dump. Nothing will affect you, because if there is anything great things happening to you, there is no success, there is no distress, nothing, and then you become unassailable. You are a rock of Gibraltar. Whatever be the waves that may be coming and going, and whatever be the pummeling that may happen, the rock of Gibraltar stays like that, and you will be like that. Once that is there, that is the final thing. That's what we saw in the mantra number 14. There they said, Yadyas Sarve Pramuchyante Kamate Asyo Hiti Stitaha. Because how, after all, once you get out all these, all the desires out, you become immortal in the sense you have got nothing more to desire. But what happens? Nothing more to desire, because for, with the egocentric and your body centric, because you are not a body. The once you become like that, even the body is not yours. Once you understand that, there is highest. So the anything that happens to the body, even the body is going to be, sort of a, if the soul leaves the body also, you are not going to be bothered about it. You are not the body. You understand that you are something much more than. That is why you will be able to live in this delta wave and all, even without the food. Once you get that realization. Atha martyo amurto bhavat atra brahma samashnute. It's exactly here. What is the most important time? It is the here, right now. What is in front of you? You will be able to achieve. You will be able to do right away here. You don't have to wait for this heaven. You will be taken by some sort of the big palanquin. Because people will carry into the heaven. All those things. Maybe give me a story to give you. Because these are all the type. The equivalent of the bliss you will be getting. It's not that it is a sort of figurative. What is the finally the bliss comes is something much different. So this is what because we have seen. So because what happens is the once you forget because these desires, body, this and that, because you are identifying with the original source and self, you are at a level where you can't come down, and others will have to measure up to you to know you, and you are not bothered whether they are knowing you or not, because you are trying to. But your vibration will make so many people to make an effort to know themselves. That is the great. The next mantra, in fact, takes us towards that. It is in your page number 138, 2.3.15. Yadya sarvam prabidhyante. We all get, when all get shattered, prabidhyante, all desires. What is that? Desires, come and we saw it goes and all, and we control this. How they are all getting, because they're destroyed. It says, because it's some prabidhyante in the sense almost it's getting destroyed. Hitayaste, hitayastaha, hitayasya, iha grantayaha. Hitayasti, the grantayaha, in the sense it is all knots. Our desires are knots. Relationship in the knots. He is my brother-in-law's brother, and he is my co-brother's sister-in-law. She's the co-brother's sister-in-law. My cousins, and then because my friends' cousins. Likewise, because we go on having so many knots, and trying to keep the knots in our comfort zone. So, and he's so and so, because he was the secretary to the prime minister, he was the governor of that, and he's this, that, and all. We try to think the grantha, and the knots are there. There are a variety of knots are there. So, what is this grantha? What is it to be destroyed? So, naturally, in the philosophical terms, our scriptures beautifully address there are three knots, we say. One is Brahma Grantha. You might have heard this word somewhere else. Then Vishnu Grantha. Vishnu Grantha is then again, because it is called another knot, and Rudra Grantha. And three Granthas are there. One is, because just seeing, because the source, we belong to such a ecstatic family line, because you are like a royal family line. Likewise, all of us try to, because my grandfather's great grandfather was ruling that place, because he was the biggest landlord of that place, or this and that, this, or he was advocate general, or this and that. Likewise, because when we go on doing all those things, and then, that is Brahmagrantha, whatever, trying to show about our source. And, then having, because I am from this place, and, I have done this, even at the age of that, and all those things, that comes about. Vishnu Grantha is the one, which you are able to act in this world, karma. You will have to do the karma. So when you are able to do then, because you are trying to do, you are trying, look, I will have to do, I will take this business, I will do this. And then once you do it, because what happens, it takes you to unknown zones, because I will do these shortcuts and do it. When you go for the shortcuts, it gets, further knotted. You will not be able to untie the knot. It comes. So then it goes on, and then it is Rudra Grantha. Rudra Grantha, in the sense, when you get into a problem, you want to come out of that. So they have got this problem. Vicissitudes are there. Because, this is, I'm just figuratively explaining. It is nowhere else in the philosophy, but the purpose of understanding and explaining. Rudra Grantha has, when you are trying to come out, trying to, उनको अगर ये problem हुआ तो उनसे मिलने से काम हो जाएगा. So because he is an influential person, and someone says नहीं आप ऐसे ही case fail करो, and because trying to find, but then without realizing what are all the mistakes I have done, what is in my hand, how can I come out of myself? If I have done a mistake, I should be able to admit the mistake and try to come out of that. I don't have the temerity and I don't have the intellectual honesty to admit my mistake to myself. You don't have to admit to the whole world and go and croak. You admit to yourself, and yes, you understand, you realize yourself, oh, look, let me undo the mistake. Let me untie the mistake. That is untying. So, like what these three things, because that is being done about, because Brahma Grantha, Vishnu Grantha, and Rudra Grantha, these are all the knots they are keeping us, into the everyday life with all the success, miseries, because all the problems, challenges, what we are going through. So, all the three Granthas are being again denoted in philosophy like Avidya, Kama, Karma. That's what we said in Avidya, Kama, Karma, and Atma, Paramatma. Finally, because when you have this Chin Mudra, when you get into that, when you are able to identify the self, and when you are able to live in the delta, because the delta wave, because you are able to, even with live with the prana, you don't need any other, material foods and all. That is the level once you. But till then, because before you evolve, what happens in a normal time, even when you have eaten sufficiently, you look for some snacks because we are restless. That is, the beta wave, beta existence. Once you get into the next higher, so once you are going to the next time, there, because you feel, you don't unnecessarily feel hungry and all, but then, because you look for the food at the time. Go reach out. But once you take the delta wave and you don't bother, because you only, because what is required, what is available at that point of time, you take. Once you leave the highest level, even prana is good enough for you to live in this world. That's why, because it is demonstrated by the Jain Munis, the living without the food. Only a few drops of water every day for more than 365 days right across in Bangalore. What makes them? That is the level Upanishad talks about. It is possible for us. We have tied ourselves. No, हमसे नहीं होगा. हमको diabetic है. हमको ये है वो है. Yes, it is there, and you will have to take care of that. But consciously, if you get into meditative state of your own time, it is certainly possible. The people have achieved. Well, I have not achieved it. So many others have not achieved it. But Upanishad says the possibility of achieving, and it has been demonstrated by lively, because the people who are showing themselves. And a lot of people, who had, all the heart problems and diabetic, and because they have all given up everything, they are trying to live, in the way, and they are still living. There are people who are there, and you can't be trying to, give an interview and all, because by that, only we will be suspecting, there is something wrong with them, or they may be doing something which they are telling. Therefore, it is for us to believe, because once you have this avidya, kama, and karma, if this three element goes off, the three elements are control. Avidya is the wrong, because only considering the world only to be true and the body is only to be true. The kama is the desire, because which is trying to fulfill all those things. Once you get the grace of the God, the kama will go to, because not to the material kama, and it will go further into that knowing myself, getting into my highest elevated stage. Once you do that, because that is the real, you want to see, identify yourself with the ultimate power who has brought you into this world. So that is what Sarva Prabhidyanti Hitayasya Gantayah Atha Martyo Amurto Atha Martyo Vato Bhavat Yetatvat Anushasanam. The mortal becomes immortal. This is the only thing that they are telling. So what happens, because this avidya, kama, karma will not work on this. Basically, to work in this world, what is the most important time? Right now. What is the most important thing to be done in this world? That is in front of you. What is important? Because if you have to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. If you have to cook something, if you have to file some return, do it right now. And if you have to have a banking issue right now, do it. That's all. You focus only on that, but don't get into that, because my cousin was, he was a GM in that bank. If I tell him, he will tell me something. Don't depend on that. Nowadays, no one can do that. Assuming even if you can do, even only give advice, because you go on with this. Therefore, you take the knowledge, you take, the advice, but then finally you will have to do it yourself. So the most important thing is right in front of you. The most important person is wherever you are there, whether you are away from your family, whether you are with the family, or whether you are, with someone else and all, because they are the most important person at the point. Try to focus only on that. So this is what, because exactly the Upanishad has brought it. But at the same time, because there are also, the scriptural explanation for this. When we talked about all the three granthis, because the Brahma Granthi and Vishnu Granthi and Rudra Granthi, there are two sides of, because the Advaita, because the monastic type of, the explanation is like Tripurantaka, is with one arrow, Shiva has destroyed, because the three different worlds, Tripurantakara, because then what comes, because then likewise, you try to do the entire thing. With once you have a desire, I'm not going to be taken away by that, with that you do it. That's what, they say. And another one is Trivikrama, Trivikrama Tapasya. There's a Trivikrama is, because again Vishnu's avatar. So he's all the three worlds, because he measured, just like that. Before, showing himself to be a Vamana, Ulagaranda Perumal, Trivikrama, he's so likewise, you try to fulfill that you are complete in all the three. Vishnu Kriti, because in terms of things, I'm not bothered, I have come into this world, I've got the grace and I'm gratitude to everyone, whoever has brought me into this world, whoever I have interacted, whoever made the life possible. And then, whatever has happened in the world, and I'm happy to be, because that Vishnu Kriti, because I could do everything, within that, and I'm still able to do whatever little I'm left out. And Rudra Granthi is, because look, because finally I'm able to face all the challenges, whatever is there. There are no challenges because I don't have any desire to be challenged. So once it comes to that, then you are having all the three. Because there is a philosophical explanation for this. For us, the takeaway is, because yes, because both ways, you can try to explain this and that. The thing is, because finally it is the mind that creates, because whatever your desires are. The desires, because the mind, will not be creating the desires, once you have a control, once you have that, the once you focus on the power of now and the mindfulness, mind will not unnecessarily be propagating itself into geometric proportion. It will try to be under control. You will be able to get the best out of it. And once you do that, the mind will not be, having a challenges, because you understand, once you grow and reflect yourself, because These are all the things, what is you are seeing, and what invisible behind them, is something different. And even this body what you are having, because then you will not be even worried about the death or anything like that. The word death will not cause, like Nachiketa, no one will fear that. What is this body has come, it is made of all the five elements of the God. But in the meantime, we will also have understand the body is full of vibration. All the chromosomes, all the cells, they are all pulsating all the way. Why we are all different? Because all the we will see in a little more detail in the next week how the difference, because how we allow to understand to each one of us in our own way to elevate, that we will bring it and all. Likewise, once you understand you are a vibration and 6 million cells are dying every day in your body, 6 million cells are recreated, and who has afforded all this creation, you are able to do it, and we should be able to use this power that is happening in us, the process in us, focus it, and finally get into the highest mode in which we are destined to be in this world for which we have come. This is the highest sort of concept that has been brought about. And once it is brought about, and we have also said ways and means, but the ways and means will change for everyone, because every day we are facing different circumstances. And you can't go and frequently, you can't have a FAQ, because if it happens, what it is. But your circumstances are different. Then you will have to always understand the power of now. Don't bother about anything. I have to do this now. Today I am teaching a child, because my purpose is, in the next half an hour, I will only be busy with the child. That's all. Forget about rest of it. Likewise, you take the day as it comes by naturally, because you will attain that. And once because don't bother about people who are not near, because if only my son, who is the well-known doctor, in US, I think I don't have to go to the doctor getting. If you have any, you will have to go, and or if someone else is giving you advice, someone is giving you, the cure, go to them, and if you have faith in do that, and do yourself, and try to control through the food, and if you have the possibility, try to do that. That's the power of now. Don't go unnecessarily worried about the things which is not available to you, which is not in front of you, and which is invisible at that moment. Though you are having the perception, these are all available to you at our own point of time. Our problem is that when nothing, those so many things which is not available, we think, as a right, all of them will be available to me or beckon my car, but they will not become. So this is exactly will come. Once you focus on this, you will be a power unto yourself, and you will be getting to the delta stage, because we will also be seeing dealing with those stages next week, and we will be seeing wonderfully into this. This has given, because all the knots in this, the life will be removed. It's not only the granthis which is talked about, and all the knots will be removed. We will fully be free of because all these sort of conflicts and conflagrations, and we will be a wonderful being without any sort of tie-up. That is what Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bunatu.